Hi everyone and welcome back. Thank you for joining us. So my name is Rachel and I'm from Life a Little Greener, and today we're going to talk about the most common mistakes that I find with people in their veggie gardens. So we're going to run through a few things that I see whenever I'm working in people's gardens. So things like forgetting irrigation, using the wrong soil, choosing the wrong seeds and seedlings for the season. And the last one is definitely one that I find is the most common mistake that people make. Right, so the first mistake that I see really often is people not laying irrigation. Not laying irrigation can mean that we're sometimes forgetting to water our plants. A lot of us are really quite busy, and so if we're laying irrigation, it means that it can give us the ability to water our entire veggie garden really quickly. I can use my garden as an example of the type of irrigation that we're using, but there are a lot of different irrigation methods that you can use. I'm just using some old plastic lawn hose that I've had left over from, I stole it from my mum. I've got mine laid underneath the mulch, so we're making sure that we're watering directly to the soil. So setting up irrigation can save you time because you can flick it on at the tap and you can run around with the kids, or you can get some dinner on. Make sure you set a timer so you don't forget to turn it off. And then it can also mean that it can save you money, because then it means that you know that your veggies are going to grow rather than them not getting enough water and dying. So mistake number two that we seem to find when we're out and about is sometimes people are planting the wrong seeds and seedlings at the wrong season. Sometimes we might be planting in a cool season crop when we know that it's going to be too hot and they're just not going to survive, or they're going to be under a lot of pest and disease pressure. And so then we might feel like we're not doing a very good job, but in fact it's just that we're planting the wrong things at the wrong time. It's starting to cool down now, so it's going to be the time where we're going to start planting some of those broccolis and cauliflowers and bok choys and pak choys and cabbages and all of those really delicious winter crops. That's what I'd be focusing on planting now. Same with the seeds. If you're buying and planting things from seeds, it will tell you on the back of the packet the best time to plant those. And so really paying attention to that information that's provided to you, because if we want really good garden success, growing the right plants at the right time is really important. Mistake number three is planting a whole heap of the same species in a bed. So when we're vegetable growing, biodiversity is key. Biodiversity above ground equals biodiversity below ground. And so the more mixture of species that you can plant in one singular space will provide a nice ecosystem below the ground. If we're planting a singular crop above ground, it does put it at risk for pest and disease pressure, because it means that we can have a fungal pathogen rip through, or we can have a whole plague of grasshoppers come through and destroy a crop. So if we are employing biodiversity planting practices, then we can ensure that we're really promoting a really healthy and diverse microbiome. I've got dianthus, marigolds, more chilies, and then I've still got space to plant more species. The fourth most common mistake that I do find when we're working with people's veggie gardens is picking the wrong soil. We're either getting topsoil from a landscape yard, which tends to be quite lackluster and it doesn't really have a lot of organic matter. It's quite high in sand, and so you find that your veggies are just really going to struggle. The other thing that I find is people are buying bagged potting mix from those large corporations, and so those bagged potting mixes contain things like synthetic wetting agents, synthetic fertilizers, which not only leach into our environment, they're also made from fossil fuels. And so if we can stop buying those bagged products from those large corporations and start supporting our smaller locally made compost makers, then we know that we're getting a really good product that doesn't contain synthetic fertilizers which leach into our environment. Now we're going to talk about the biggest mistake that I find with people in veggie gardens. It's quite common for me to go to someone's house, or perhaps you're doing it in your backyard yourselves, and we're not using mulch. And mulch is what's going to help protect that soil, but also feed that soil. This can be an example of a living mulch. So this is a Brazilian spinach, and you can see the density at which it's covering the space, and that's acting as a mulch. And then this is a hay mulch that we're using. You can also use wood chip. In a veggie garden, I'm going to opt for a more easily digestible mulch, whereas in an orchard style setting perhaps, or a perennial bed, I might opt for a wood chip. Thank you for joining us and having a chat about the 5 most common mistakes that we find when we're working with people in their veggie gardens. So we're just going to run through them again. So our number one I find people forget is laying irrigation. And so we were talking about what kind of irrigation to lay, how to lay it as well, just so that we can save time and we can save money so we're not killing our plants. Number 2, we spoke about planting the right seeds and seedlings at the right time, just to make sure that we're not putting any pressure on plants that are trying to grow in the wrong season. So number 3, we spoke about biodiversity, so making sure that we're planting a really diverse range of species above ground so we can really promote the biodiversity in the microbiome below ground. Number 4, we spoke about picking the right soil, so making sure that we're going to a landscape yard and picking something that looks really nice and smells really delicious, leaves your hands a really beautiful color. But also making sure that we're not buying bagged potting mixes and things from large corporations. Those bags are filled with synthetic fertilizer and synthetic wetting agents. And number 5, the biggest mistake that we find is people not using mulch. And so mulch not only protects the soil, but it feeds your soil. And so it has a dual action when we're planting our species. So thank you guys for watching. Feel free to like, share and comment down below if you've got any questions or even your top tip for people who are growing veggies at home. Leave it in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for watching along, and we'll see you next time.